in the far part of the galaxy on a quiet and hidden moon called Selith 4. A large alien research lab was buried under the ice. The lab belonged to the Council of Galactic Science, a group that studied all life in the galaxy, but some things were not allowed. Some rules were never to be broken. One of these rules was clear: to not study human reproduction. Humans were strange. Humans were dangerous. And most of all, humans were different. But Dr. Varnak, a top alien scientist with fur, eyes and skin like silver stone, could not stop thinking about humans. He had seen the wars humans had survived. He had read reports about how fast they spread across planets. He had heard whispers that humans could bond with other species, not just in friendship, but something more. So one night, when the other researchers were sleeping, Dr. Varnak did something forbidden. He took a sample of human DNA that was secretly stored in the lab's deep vault. He placed it into the lab scanner. The machine hummed softly, lights blinking green and red as it began testing. Minutes passed, then hours. Dr. Varnak waited, eyes wide, fingers twitching. When the results appeared on the screen, he gasped. His legs almost gave out. The data was impossible. Humans could crossbreed with over 93% of known species. Not only that, but the result of such unions was not weak or sick. These hybrid children were stronger, smarter, and more adaptable than their parents. Some even showed powers no one had seen before. Dr. Varnak whispered to himself, "This is not evolution. This is design." He quickly downloaded the report onto a small chip and prepared to send it to the council. But then he stopped. He knew what would happen if the council saw this. They would erase it, silence him, maybe even destroy Earth. The truth was too powerful. Suddenly, the lights in the lab flickered. The walls trembled slightly. The temperature dropped by 10 degrees. Something was wrong. Dr. Varnak backed away from the console. The doors to the lab were locked. No one else should be awake at this hour. Then he heard it. Footsteps, slow and heavy, coming from the hallway. A sharp, mechanical sound followed the hiss of a plasma blade being charged. Someone else knew. Dr. Varnak rushed to hide the chip inside a small pocket in his chest plate. He turned off the scanner and deleted all local files. The report was now only in his hands. The door opened with a loud metallic creak. A tall alien in black armor stepped inside, face hidden behind a dark helmet. No name, no words, just silence. They both stared at each other. The armored figure raised a weapon slowly, pointing it at Dr. Varnak's head. Dr. Varnak raised his arms, his voice shaking. "Please, we must share this. The galaxy must know the truth about humans." The figure stepped closer, then paused. Instead of firing, it lowered the weapon slightly. "Too late," the voice said through the mask, deep and cold. "The others already know. You should have stayed silent." Then the power in the lab went out completely. Darkness swallowed everything. Dr. Varnak moved quickly, throwing a flash crystal on the floor. A blinding light filled the room. He ran toward the emergency exit, heart pounding like a drum. He escaped into the frozen night of Selith 4, breathing heavily in the icy wind. Snow hit his face like glass, but he didn't stop. He had only one mission: now find someone who would listen. Someone who could protect humanity before it was too late. As he disappeared into the blizzard, a new alert blinked in red on a hidden terminal deep inside the lab. Genetic class alert. Human DNA classified as galactic level threat. In space, far from Selith 4, many eyes turned toward Earth, some with fear, others with greed, a few with curiosity, but none of them understood one thing: humans had no idea what was coming. And when they did find out, the galaxy would never be the same. Dr. Varnak ran across the snowy plains of Selith 4. His breath formed clouds in the cold air. The chip in his pocket felt hot, not because of heat, but because of the heavy truth it carried. The truth about humans and their secret power. He found an old cargo ship hidden under ice. It was abandoned, but still had fuel. He started the engine and flew into space, knowing the council would send hunters after him soon. He needed to find someone who could help, someone not controlled by fear or politics, far away from him, on a peaceful planet called Avelis. A young human diplomat named Lisa Harper was preparing for her first solo mission. She had trained for years to speak with alien races. Her task was to meet the leaders of the Koronai, a proud and ancient alien race, and build peace between their world and Earth. Lisa had no idea that she was walking into danger. She didn't know that alien scientists had started whispering about humans behind closed doors. Some called humans the key. Others called them the threat. When Lisa arrived on Avelis, she was greeted warmly. The Koronai gave her a private room, fine food, and kind smiles. But something felt strange. She noticed the guards watching her a little too closely. She caught the scientists staring. When they thought she wasn't looking, one night, an elder named Jarn approached her during dinner. His eyes glowed softly in the dim light, and his voice was smooth and quiet. "Tell me, human," he said, "do you know your true value too? The galaxy." Lisa laughed politely, thinking it was a joke. "I'm just a diplomat," she said. "I don't think I'm very valuable." Jarn leaned closer. "You are more than you know." Before she could ask what he meant, a guard interrupted. "It's time for rest, Ambassador Harper." The moment passed, but the chill in Lisa's heart remained, back on his ship. Dr. Varnak sent a coded message to an old friend, a former alien general named Threx. Threx had been kicked out of the Galactic Council for speaking too freely. Varnak knew he would listen. He sent the full report, hoping Threx would understand. What it meant, Threx opened the file in silence as he read. His eyes widened. He whispered to himself, "So, it's true. Humans are not just a young species. They are the future." He sent a reply. "Meet me at the abandoned station near Rift 12. This must stay in the shadows." But it was already too late to keep it secret. The data had been traced, and whispers were spreading fast across the galaxy. Black markets started placing high bounties for live humans. Not for slavery, but for something stranger, breeding programs, experiments, and genetic merging. Some alien factions believed that if they could mix their bloodlines with humans, they could build stronger warriors, smarter leaders, or even immortal beings. Lisa had no idea she was in the center of this storm one evening. She found her room locked from the outside. She called for help, but no one answered. Her translator device was taken, and her messages were blocked. She realized she was no longer a guest, she was a prisoner. At the same time, a secret meeting took place deep under the oceans of planet Varan. 5 alien leaders discussed the human problem. One said, "We must destroy Earth before their kind spreads." Another said, "No, we must use them, take what they offer, and control them." But one leader stayed silent. Her name was Zyra. She looked at the stars and said, "The humans will not bow. If we try to control them, they will fight. And they will win." Back on the space station near Rift 12, Dr. Varnak met Threx. They studied the report again and saw more than just science. They saw war, they saw hope, they saw fear. Threx said, "If this gets out, galaxy will change forever." Varnak replied, "It already has." Meanwhile, Lisa found a way to escape her room using a piece of broken metal and her training. She slipped out into the hallways and saw something she couldn't believe: other humans. Kept in medical pods, some were awake, eyes wide with fear. Others were unconscious, hooked to strange machines. She started recording everything with her hidden camera. She had to get this information to Earth. But footsteps echoed behind her, heavy and fast. She started to run. Just before she reached the exit, a figure pulled her into a dark corner. She gasped, ready to fight, but the figure whispered, I'm here to help. I'm not one of them. It was an alien guard, young, with soft blue skin and kind eyes. My name is Kiro, he said. I know what they are doing, and I think it's wrong. You're not an experiment. You're a person. Lisa stared at him, shocked. Then help me get out of here. Kiro nodded. I'll get you off this planet, but we have to move now, before they find you again. As the two ran through the dark halls of the alien facility, the galaxy continued to spin in silence, but nothing would stay silent for long. The secret was out, and now everyone wanted a piece of humanity. Lisa followed Kiro through narrow, dark tunnels beneath the Alien Research Center. The lights flickered above them and alarms started ringing in the distance. Kiro moved fast, his long legs helping him glide through the halls like wind. But Lisa struggled to keep up. She had cuts on her hands and fear in her chest. But she kept running. Behind them, the guards had discovered the escape. The Koronai leaders had activated lockdown, sealing the exits. They wanted Lisa alive, but not free. She was worth too much to lose. Kiro took Lisa to an old cargo bay. Dusty and unused, a small shuttle sat there, half broken but still working. This ship was used to bring supplies, he said. Now it will help you get out, Lisa asked. Why are you helping me? Her voice was weak but firm. Kiro looked down, ashamed. Because I was born from a human experiment, he said. My mother was from the Koronai, but the lab mixed her with human DNA. I have always felt the difference, stronger, faster. And alone? Lisa's eyes softened. You're not alone anymore, she said gently. They climbed into the shuttle and lifted off. The engines roared to life, shaking the walls. Blasts hit the side of the ship as guards tried to stop them. But the shuttle broke through the hangar doors and flew into space. Lisa sighed with relief, but her mind was spinning. She had seen other humans in tubes. She had seen the obsession. And now she knew. This wasn't just one lab. It was the beginning of something much bigger. Far across the galaxy, the hybrid. Black markets were growing fast. Buyers paid high prices for humans. Not for war, not for labor, but for reproduction. The idea that humans could mix with other species and produce powerful children had spread like wildfire. Some aliens wanted to create armies of hybrid super soldiers. Others wanted to breed leaders who could survive in every environment. A few believed humans were a gift from the gods' life-givers who could restart dying civilizations. Many of these alien groups started forming secret labs, breeding camps, and even entire cities hidden in space. Where humans were either worshipped or controlled, some humans were treated like royalty, others like tools. Lisa didn't know all this yet, but Dr. Varnak and General Threx did on the pirate station near Rift 12. They had started gathering data from across the stars. Threx used his old contacts to gather rumors, stolen reports, and secret transmissions. One message stood out. Tit spoke of a massive alien auction happening on the dark moon of Velion 5. The message included photos, and in one of them, Dr. Varnak saw Lisa Harper's face. Along with others, Threx growled. They're selling humans like property. Varnak nodded. No, worse. They're selling a future, one where humans are farmed. For their ability to shape evolution, they decided to act, but they needed help. Threx sent a hidden message to Earth using an old diplomatic code. The message reached the Earth's Defense Alliance in a quiet command room under the surface of Mars. Captain Reese Carter read the message. His face turned pale. His own brother had disappeared years ago on a peace mission to alien space. Now Reese wondered, was he taken too? Back in space, Lisa and Kiro landed on a smuggler's outpost. Lisa uploaded her video recordings and sent them through secret networks toward Earth. She didn't know if they would reach, but it was her only hope as they waited for transport. Lisa sat beside Kiro. Her body was tired, but her eyes were still strong. What happens now? She asked. Kiro replied, Now, We run, hide, survive, and tell your people the truth. At that moment, 2 bounty hunters arrived at the outpost looking for a valuable hybrid female. Lisa knew it was her. She and Kiro ran again. But this time, they were not alone. Other humans were at the outpost to rescue from similar situations. These survivors joined them, some scared, some angry, but all ready to fight. They formed a small group, not a strong army, but something new, something growing. Meanwhile, in a dark council chamber on the planet Navor, alien leaders met in secret. One of them said, "The human problem is spreading. We must control it." Another responded, "Or join it." Before it's too late, one of them, cloaked in shadows, whispered, "The time will come when humans will not be hunted, but followed. Their bloodline will be the currency of power. We must prepare." Back at the outpost, Lisa looked at the stars. She didn't feel like a diplomat anymore. She felt like a messenger, carrying a truth the galaxy wasn't ready for. She turned to Kiro. "We're not just escaping now. We're starting something that won't stop." Kiro nodded. "Then we'd better be ready, because they won't stop either." Above them, satellites caught signals of Lisa's escape, and bounty prices doubled overnight. The galaxy had just learned something dangerous. Humans could change everything. And everyone wanted a piece. Asterisk, deep beneath the surface of Mars. Inside a hidden military base, Captain Reese Carter stared at the message from space. It was from General Threx, an alien once known as a war criminal. But now, he was a whistleblower, sharing a secret that could shake the galaxy. Reese didn't want to believe it. He had heard strange reports over the years: missing diplomats, silent colonies, weird hybrid children on fringe worlds. But now, the pieces fit together like a deadly puzzle. Humans were being hunted, not for war or hatred, but because their DNA was special, too special. Somewhere in the stars, his brother might still be alive, taken for experiments just like Ambassador Lisa Harper. Reese slammed his fist on the table. "Enough," he said. "We're not prey, we're not property. It's time we fight back." He called a secret team known as Shadow Talon, a group trained for deep space rescue and silent warfare. Their ship, the Hammer of Dawn, was small, fast, and armed with stealth tech no alien had ever seen. The mission was simple: go to Velion 5, the moon where Lisa was spotted, and bring her home. But Reese knew it wouldn't be that easy. Velion 5 was deep in lawless space, ruled by pirates and black market breeders. Getting in was one thing, getting out alive was another. Meanwhile, on Velion 5, Lisa and Kiro were hiding in the shadows of an old mining town. The air was thick with smoke, and strange creatures moved in the dark. All around them were cages, auctions, and whispers of human value. Lisa felt sick seeing her own people being sold. Some humans were awake, eyes full of fear. Others were drugged, dressed like trophies. It was worse than she had imagined. Kiro touched her arm gently. "We have to move soon," he said. "They're starting the auction." Lisa looked around. "We're outnumbered. We can't stop this." Kiro gave her a small device. "But maybe we can delay it." Back in orbit, the Hammer of Dawn uncloaked just outside the moon's gravity field. Captain Reese looked at the team. "We go in quiet. No mistakes. No deaths unless needed. We get her and anyone else we can." The ship landed behind the auction dome. The team split into 3 groups, dressed like alien buyers. They walked past guards, scanning the faces, searching for Lisa. Inside, the auction had started. A large alien with golden horns stood on stage, shouting prices behind him. Humans were displayed like pets. The crowd cheered, flashing credits and strange jewels. Lisa was next. The auctioneer raised his arms. A rare Earth diplomat, highly fertile, intelligent, unbroken. Before he could continue, the lights flickered. Smoke poured from vents. Screams filled the hall, and in that chaos, Reese made his move. He rushed the stage, grabbed Lisa by the arm. "Lisa Harper," he shouted. She turned in shock. "Reese?" she said. "How are you here?" "No time," he replied, pulling her behind the curtain. "We're getting you out." Kiro and other humans joined them. They ran through tunnels, dodging fire from guards. Reese's team covered them. Throwing flash bombs and EMP grenades, they moved fast, trained like shadows. One of Reese's soldiers was hit, but he kept firing until the others escaped. He smiled before going down. Knowing the mission would succeed, they reached the ship, loading everyone quickly. Reese helped Lisa inside. "You're safe now," he said. But she grabbed his arm. "No. We're not done. I have recordings, proof of what they're doing. We need to show Earth. We need to warn everyone." Back on the ship, Lisa connected her data to the main console. Images of hybrid labs, breeding centers, and alien leaders flashed on screen. Reese and the crew watched in silence. "This isn't just about me," she said. "It's about all of us. They're not going to stop." Reese nodded slowly. "Then we'll make them stop," as the Hammer of Dawn flew into hyperspace. Alien ships followed. They had seen too much, and now the galaxy wanted them silenced. But Earth was ready. Reese had already sent a coded alert to the Defense Command by the time they reached home. Earth's sky was no longer quiet. Satellites had moved, weapons had activated, and deep space sensors blinked red. The Council of Earth met in emergency. Some wanted to stay silent, to hide. Others wanted revenge. But Lisa stood before them and spoke with fire in her voice. "They're coming. For us, not with bombs, but with chains. They want our bodies, our blood, our future. We either fight or we fall." The council voted that night, and the order was clear: prepare for war. But not just war, prepare for the truth. Prepare to face a galaxy that now feared, wanted, and hated humanity all at once, and somewhere deep. In space, the alien general who once worked with Dr. Varnak smiled darkly. He watched the humans rise and whispered to himself, "Let the games begin." The Earth was no longer quiet. Satellites moved across the sky like silent guards. Warships came out of hidden bases, and secret labs around the world shut down their peaceful experiments. Now the focus was survival. Captain Reese Carter stood on the bridge of the Hammer of Dawn. He looked out the window as the ship returned to Earth orbit. His mind was still full of images from the auction of humans in cages, of Lisa's voice warning the world. Lisa Harper sat beside him. Her face was calm, but her eyes were tired. She had been through too much, yet she refused to rest. "There are others still out there," she said softly. "People like me. Taken, sold, used." Reese nodded. "We'll get them back." But things were not so simple now. The message had gone viral. Aliens across the galaxy had seen the recordings Lisa uploaded. Some called Earth a miracle. Others called it a threat. Some wanted to make peace. But many wanted to control human fertility before someone else did. On the far side of the moon, Earth's science base received an unexpected visitor. A young hybrid alien, tall and thin, with silver eyes and brown skin. He raised his hands in peace and gave his name. "I am Kale, son of two worlds. I want to speak to your leaders." Reese and Lisa met him under heavy guard. Kale stood tall and proud. "I was made in a lab, born of a human mother and a Valari father. I grew up knowing I didn't belong," he said. "But I've come to warn you, some hybrids are building armies. They don't want peace, they want control." Lisa looked at him carefully. "Why are you helping us?" Kale's eyes lowered. "Because I've seen what they're planning. They believe humans are a resource. Like oil or gold, they want to spread your genes across the stars. To build perfect soldiers and rulers." Reese didn't trust him. "So, what makes you different?" he asked. Kale replied, "Because I don't want to be a weapon. I want to be free. The council allowed Kale to stay, but many still watched him with suspicion. Earth's leaders were divided. Some believed Kale was honest. Others thought he was a spy, while Earth debated. A secret hybrid fleet moved through the edges of known space. Their ships were sleek, dark, and silent. The leader of this fleet was a powerful hybrid named Zyron. Created from the strongest alien warriors and human DNA, Zyron stood before his army and raised his hand. "The time has come," he shouted. "We are the new Genesis, born to rule, born to shape the galaxy in our image. The humans think they can control us, but they are wrong." Back on Earth, Kale gave Reese a location. "There's a hidden lab near the rings of Ilirani," he said. "It's where many hybrids are created. If you destroy it, you'll send a message." Reese gathered a small team. Lisa joined him. Kale came too. Wanting to prove himself, the mission was dangerous, but they had no choice. They traveled in silence, knowing this could be a trap. When they arrived at Iliruni, the planet was cold and covered in mist. The lab was hidden under crystal caves. Guarded by creatures with metal skin and human eyes, the team moved in carefully, placing charges, taking photos, freeing captured humans. But just as they were about to leave, alarms rang through the caves. A deep voice echoed through the halls. "So, the humans have come to destroy what they fear." Zyron appeared, taller than any soldier, with skin that shimmered like stone. "And fire. You are not ready for what's coming," he said. "You think this is about genetics. No, this is about destiny." Kale stepped forward. "You're wrong," he said. "We don't need to become monsters to be strong." Zyron looked at him with disgust. "You are weak, like your human mother." Before anyone could move, Zyron attacked. His speed was beyond belief. Reese was thrown against a wall. Lisa fired her weapon but missed. Kale fought with all his strength, but even he was no match. Then Lisa saw a crystal above the chamber glowing with energy. She aimed and fired. The crystal exploded and the ceiling collapsed. Light and rock rained down. Zyron roared in anger as he disappeared under the rubble. The team escaped just in time. The lab was destroyed, and the hybrid army there scattered. But the cost was heavy. Kale was badly hurt, and Reese had a broken arm. They returned to Earth, heroes, but also with a warning. Lisa stood before the council. Again, her voice strong. "We stopped one lab, but many more exist. And Zyron is not dead. He will return, with more hybrids, more armies. We need to prepare." Kale was taken to a special care center, his body healing, his mind torn. "Did I do the right thing?" he asked Lisa one day. She smiled softly. "You did what many could not. You chose to be human." But above them, in the stars, Zyron's flagship floated in silence, damaged but alive. His red eyes opened slowly. And he whispered, "This is not the end. This is the beginning." The moon base floated above Earth like a silent guardian. From its windows, soldiers watched the stars, waiting for what was coming. The lab at Ilirani was gone. But it had only delayed the storm, not stopped it. Captain Reese Carter stood near the command table. His arm was still in a brace, but he didn't care. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning. Beside him stood Lisa Harper, her voice now known across the galaxy, and Kale, the hybrid who had risked everything. Reports came in every hour. Human colonies being raided. Hybrid armies forming in the dark corners of space. Satellite images showed large fleets moving, not from one planet, but from many. A unified force. Zyron's new Genesis. "They're heading for the moon," said one officer. "Not Earth directly. They want the fertility labs." Reese narrowed his eyes. "They want to take control of the future." The moon base had once been a peaceful research hub. Now it was a fortress. Lasers lined the landing decks. Drones scanned the void. And deep inside the base, scientists worked to protect what the hybrids wanted most, the key to human reproduction. Earth's top biologists had created a tool called gene blockers. It was a shield for human DNA, making it impossible to mix without permission. It wasn't a weapon, it was a defense. But the new Genesis didn't want permission. They wanted control. From the shadows of space, Xiron watched Earth's defenses with a quiet smile. His ship, the Dominion's Child, was nearly silent, hiding in a dark cloud of dust near the moon's orbit. Inside, thousands of hybrids waited. Trained for one thing: capture, not destruction. Begin, Xiron ordered. Dozens of hybrid drop pods shot out of the mothership, flying toward the moon base like arrows. Inside each one were elite soldiers, some with wings, some with armor fused into their skin. They didn't want to kill humans. They wanted to take them alive. Alarms screamed. Across the moon base, incoming craft, shouted a technician. Multiple targets, fast, unregistered. Reese grabbed his rifle. Everyone to battle stations. Protect the gene labs at all costs. Lisa was rushed to the control room. She had the only code to activate the blockers. If the hybrids reached her, everything would be lost. Kale stood beside her, weak but determined. They won't touch you, he promised. The first wave of hybrids hit the base, crashing through walls and floors. Earth soldiers opened fire, but the hybrids didn't go down easily. They were fast, trained, and knew where to strike. In the chaos, a group of hybrids reached the lab doors. One of them, with golden skin and glowing eyes, placed a device on the wall. "We will rewrite the galaxy," he whispered. Inside the lab, Lisa's hands trembled. As she typed the code, the blockers needed a full 60 seconds to activate, but the hybrids were only 30 seconds away. Kale took a deep breath. "I'll hold them," he said, and ran out before Lisa could stop him. He met the hybrids head-on. His body burned with power, part human, part something else. He fought like fire, blocking their path, buying precious seconds. In another part of the base, Reese was surrounded. A hybrid soldier jumped on his back, but Reese slammed him into a wall. "Not today," he growled. The soldiers with him pushed forward, securing the lab's left wing. Time was running out. 10 seconds. Lisa whispered the countdown to herself. 9, 8, 7. Kale screamed in pain as a blade cut across his side. But he stood tall. "I am not your tool," he shouted at them. "I am not your future." Then beep. The blockers activated. A wave of blue light passed through the base, invisible to the eye, but powerful enough to shut down every hybrid's genetic connection. The hybrids froze, their bodies shaking, their implants sparking. Lisa stepped out of the lab, holding the control device. "You wanted control," she said, "but now you've lost it." The hybrids began to retreat, confused and weakened. Xiron, watching from his ship, clenched his fists. "So they found a way," he said coldly. "This changes everything." He didn't give the order to attack again. Instead, he pulled his fleet back into deep space. Not in fear, but in thought. He needed a new plan, one more dangerous than before. Back on the moon, the wounded were being carried. Kale was taken to the medical wing. Barely alive, but smiling. "Did we win?" he asked Lisa. She held his hand. "We're still standing. That's a start." Reese looked out the window at Earth below. "We've made enemies across the stars," he said. "But we've also made something else hope. News of the battle spread fast. Some alien races applauded Earth's courage. Others saw the blockers as a threat. Diplomats arrived, some to talk, others to spy. The galaxy was changing. And at the center of it, all humans, not warriors by birth, not chosen by destiny, but made powerful by something simple and unstoppable: the ability to create life. The war was far from over, but Earth had made one thing clear: they would not be owned. Earth was no longer seen as weak or silent. After the battle on the moon base, the entire galaxy turned its eyes toward humanity. Some with fear, some with curiosity, and many with hidden plans. In the middle of the storm stood Lisa Harper. She had gone from a peaceful diplomat to the voice of resistance. Her speeches were now broadcast across different star systems. Her message was simple. We didn't start this, but we will finish it. Captain Reese Carter returned to Earth with the wounded. His ship, the Hammer of Dawn, had become a symbol. A symbol that humans could fight back. A symbol that they would never be taken again. But Earth's leaders were divided. Some wanted to close the planet's borders, hide and protect what was left. Others believed the time had come to rise, to lead and to build something new with the galaxy. A special emergency council was formed. Humans, hybrids like Kale, and even alien ambassadors were invited. The meeting was held inside the orbital space station Unity Ring, which floated above the Earth like a glowing circle of peace and tension. Lisa stood before the council and looked at every face. She saw fear, anger, pride, and confusion. She raised a small device and pressed a button, a hologram of hybrid labs. Auctions and battles filled the room. This is what we've been through, she said, not because we invaded, but because we exist. A Marathi diplomat stood and asked, "What do you want, human?" "Power. Revenge." Lisa shook her head. "No, we want a future, one that doesn't begin in chains." She then revealed a new proposal, the Hybrid Accord. It was a galactic treaty based on consent, equality, and peace. Under the accord, any species that wished to form genetic bonds with humans had to follow strict ethical laws. No forced breeding, no hidden labs, no slavery. The room went quiet. Some aliens agreed instantly. Others whispered to each other, worried about their empires and experiments. Then Kale stood up, his body still healing. "I was born in a lab," he said. "I should have been a tool, but the humans gave me a name, a choice, and a place to stand." That's what they offer, not power, freedom, one by one. Ambassadors began to vote. Some signed the accord. Others walked out in silence, and a few sent messages to their homeworlds, messages filled with warnings. Back in deep space, Zyron watched from the shadows. His ship had recovered. His army was quiet, waiting for orders. He listened to the council meeting in secret, and his red eyes burned with rage. They think paper and promises can stop evolution. He said, "Let them sign. We will build in silence. And when they forget the fear, we strike again." Earth continued to grow stronger. Scientists improved the gene blockers. Defense fleets were expanded, and diplomats traveled across the galaxy. Some planets welcomed humans. Others tried to bribe or trick them, but Earth had learned its lesson. Reese was promoted to Supreme Commander of Earth's galactic forces. His face now shone on screens across human colonies. But he still visited Kale and Lisa often, reminding himself of the reason they fought. One day, Lisa received a message from a distant planet. It was from a young hybrid girl named Enna. She wrote, "Thank you for making them see us. I was born from a lab, but now I go to school. I dream of becoming a pilot, not a product." Lisa smiled through tears. That one message made everything worth it. Then came a final message. One that changed everything. A lost human colony had sent a distress signal. They were under attack by rogue hybrids who rejected the accord. Among them was a name believed to be dead Siren. Still alive and building his new army, Reese called a war council. Lisa joined him. And Kale prepared to fight once more. This time, not just for Earth, but for the entire future of mixed life across the stars. Lisa looked out at the stars and spoke to the people of Earth and beyond. "We didn't ask for this gift, this power. But now that we have it, we will use it not to rule but to protect. The galaxy has feared us, hunted us, tried to use us. But now, we choose what comes next. Her voice echoed across satellites into ships, stations, and cities. And slowly, something changed. Humans were no longer just prey, no longer just science. Experiments. They were leaders, builders, protectors, and most of all the soul of something new. And as Earth's flag rose above the new Space Alliance station, lit by twin suns and surrounded by every kind of being imaginable, the galaxy realized one truth: humanity had chosen its future and it would never be the same again.